Good morning, and thank you all for being here for this update on the progress of our Lincoln on the Move initiative to improve our streets. Joining me today are Lincoln Transportation and Utilities Director Liz Elliott, Lincoln Chamber of Commerce Public Policy Specialist Todd Wilchin, and co-chair of our Advisory Committee on Transportation, or ACT for short, Amy Eidenmiller. And we're here today because investing in streets across our city and within our neighborhoods is one of our communities and my administration's top priorities. Streets are vital to growing economic opportunity, enhancing public safety, and supporting our high quality of life in Lincoln. Now, our residents affirmed the value that we place on our streets back in 2019 when voters approved a quarter-cent sales tax to fund additional street investments over the course of a 6-year period. Today, these investments, which include enhancements to existing streets as well as new growth projects, they comprise our Lincoln on the Move program, a program that is literally helping our residents and our community move forward in a way that enhances public safety and grows our economy and city. We're here today to share the latest progress we've made together through the Lincoln on the Move initiative, and that progress is illustrated in the 2022 Lincoln on the Move annual report that we're releasing today. This annual report showcases additional street investments of nearly $17 million that enabled 15 street projects across all quadrants of our city. And that work, completed this past year, builds on the success of progress made by the Lincoln on the Move initiative since it began in 2019. And through the first 3 years, Lincoln on the Move has invested $42 million into our streets. And what this means is that we have been able to invest over 20% more into our street network in each of the past 3 years. In concrete terms, that means that we've achieved 40 additional street projects, totaling nearly 114 lane miles that have now been built across our community, thanks to Lincoln on the Move. And since our Lincoln on the Move initiative is now halfway through its 6-year span, it befits a halftime show to display the program's most recent progress and remind residents of how it benefits our community. So we're going to take a look here. In Northeast Lincoln, our street projects are making lasting improvements to neighborhoods. This project enhanced streets around the Kehoe Elementary area. And in addition to improving existing streets, Lincoln on the Move invests in growth projects to create new non-residential streets that promote private sector investment. And one example completed this year is along West Holdridge Street from Northwest 48th to Chitwood Lane. And this project paved a mile of new street and added a new roundabout. This growth project will help serve future residential development to its north and south. Now, Lincoln on the Move also improved Randolph Street from 40th to 56th. This important thoroughfare connects neighbors in the Woods Park, Witherby, and Eastridge neighborhoods. Upgrades included a mill and overlay of the existing road surface. And in the neighborhood near Lincoln High School, near the core of our city, Lincoln on the Move improved several streets through a mill and overlay of the existing surface. So as you can see, when it comes to the quality of our streets, Lincoln is ahead of the pack. We recently ranked as the 6th best city to drive in out of 100 cities, bolstering our local economy, public safety, and our neighborhoods. One of the biggest reasons for this ranking and for our high-quality streets is the work of our Lincoln Transportation and Utilities Department, and I'd now like to invite up LTU Director Liz Elliott to share more details about Lincoln on the Move. Liz?
Thank you, Mayor. The year 2022 signifies the third of 6 years Lincoln on the Move has been in motion. And as we look back on where we were 3 years ago to where we are today, we see accelerated progress and major investments into Lincoln's infrastructure in our neighborhoods, on our arterial streets, and in growth areas of Lincoln. The 15 street projects this year show dozens of blocks of new and improved streets and more than 42 miles of progress. Our transportation team is thrilled to continue to hit the gas pedal as we make significant strides to improve and grow Lincoln's streets through this program. The third Lincoln on the Move annual report shows progress on maps and in interactive videos as well as photographs. Here's a look at this year's report. Projects can be seen in all quadrants of the city. Year 3 results show 12 existing street projects for our neighborhoods and main streets, and 3 growth projects to help meet development needs. The mayor mentioned some of these projects. A few more highlights include the Near South neighborhood and an arterial project on North 14th Street from Adams to Superior Streets. As we enter year 4, some of the projects to look forward to include South 27th Street from Coronado to Old Cheney Road, North 48th Street from Layton to Superior, and 84th Street from Sandalwood to Elizabeth Drive. More street projects are planned for years 5 and 6 with the guidance of the Act, a public committee appointed by the mayor to assist on how to best use the Lincoln on the Move street funds. Without this funding source, these streets would need to wait longer to see improvements and growth expansion. The city began receiving this revenue from the quarter-cent sales tax December 2019. The first construction project began in the spring of 2020, and we've been producing additional street projects at full speed ever since. In year 1 of the program, the city invested more than $10 million into Lincoln streets. Year 2, the program invested more than $15 million. The funding in those 2 years helped improve arterial streets like South 9th Street, South 48th Street, and neighborhoods like Highlands neighborhood, Havelock neighborhood, and Zeeman Elementary School neighborhood, along with many more. These existing street projects were a part of the 73.5% of the revenue dedicated to existing street improvements. 25% of this funding also goes to new street construction and growth areas. And 1.5% of the LTU go to the LTU and the Railroad Transportation Safety District, or the RTSD, to enhance North 33rd and Cornhusker Highway railroad intersections. On that project, environmental work continued in year 3, along with refinement of the preliminary preferred alternative. Continuation of advancing the environmental document through a series of local, state, and federal reviews, as well as holding a public hearing, will be the focus of this project in the coming year. The total number of projects for the Lincoln on the Move 6-year program will depend on a combination of material prices and revenue the city receives over the 6-year time frame. For a full look at a variety of the Lincoln on the Move transportation and utilities projects, you can go to lincoln.ne.gov/projects. On the project website, the community can see what the project is, where it's located, its funding sources, timeline for completion, and city contacts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. Together with our business community, we are keenly aware of the value of our street network, and streets are the arteries through which our Lincoln economy pulses. Here to talk more about the intersection between business and transportation is Todd Wilton with the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Mayor. Making investments in our community's infrastructure not only enables trade and encourages economic growth, it connects more workers to their jobs and helps revitalize many of our neighborhoods throughout our community, spurring economic development. The private-public partnerships in Lincoln are one of the key ingredients that make Lincoln a top location for new businesses to locate and existing businesses to expand. As a proud member of the Advisory Committee on Transportation, we are working with the city to do just this. The street projects that we examine and vote on make a significant contribution to Lincoln's long-term success. We have seen so much progress and economic resiliency through the last 3 years. Lincoln on the Move has been in motion. We can't wait to see what the next 3 years of the program will have in store for our community. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Todd. The decision on which streets to complete is led by LTU with the guidance and oversight of the Advisory Committee on Transportation, the ACT, as Todd just mentioned. And that ACT committee is a 14-member, all-volunteer citizen body that have dedicated significant time and energy to provide an extra layer of assurance and oversight. We're really grateful for the service that they're performing for our community, and one of the co-chairs of ACT is Amy Eidmiller, who also is an avid StarTran public transit user. And at this time, I'd like to invite up Amy, who will tell us more about her experience using Lincoln streets and how the ACT works to provide improvements in our neighborhoods. Amy?
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor mentioned, I am on the Advisory Committee for Transportation. I'm also an avid public transit user and have a different feel for the improvements of our streets. As I ride through the city, I can definitely tell streets that are in desperate need of repair, as well as those that have been repaired. It's a much smoother ride when we do the streets that the ACT has tended to. Also, as a pedestrian, I notice it's a little bit scary out there sometimes when you don't have a vehicle to protect you. For example, crossing 11th Street at Lincoln Mall, I have to be extra cautious and careful to avoid potholes and cracked streets. I am very pleased to announce that 11th Street corridor from South to K Street is one of the projects on our agenda for next year. And I'm very, very pleased and proud to say that the Lincoln on the Move funds are improving the quality of life as well as the safety for all Lincoln citizens and visitors. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service, Amy, and for being here today. And again, I'd like to thank our community for supporting this program and investing in our streets. Lincoln on the Move reflects our shared belief that a safe and reliable network of streets is critical to a thriving community. And looking ahead, we anticipate potentially being able to invest an additional $47 million into our streets in the program's next 3 years. And while we're excited about Lincoln on the Move's future, today we do invite residents to reflect on our progress over the past year. It's all available on our interactive Lincoln on the Move 2022 annual report at lincoln.ne.gov/streets. And at this time, we'd be happy to take any questions from the media who are here with us or available on Zoom.
Of that 42 million, that's out of how much total? Like how many street projects has the city done in those 3 years?
In 3 years, how many street projects?
3 or this year, whichever.
This year, I believe we mentioned 15, but one, here we go. So,
In addition to Lincoln on the Move, you know,
Oh,
like what
what-
part of the total street projects?
I'm gonna have, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to double check the exact numbers because I don't want to give you wrong information. So what we can do is, Erica can get back to you with the total package for the year.
I'm wondering what percentage of street projects did this comprise, I guess.
Yes, we can get those to you and have that available later. So, thank you. Sorry about that.
I know it was, I mean, when we were reviewing the numbers, we said that it's over 20% each year we've had Lincoln on the Move. We've been able to do over 20% more. So some years it's been 21%, some years it's been 25.6%. You know, we're still calculating, but we've been able to do a significant percentage of street investment that we could not have done if voters had not approved Lincoln on the Move. Any other questions? Okay, well, again, all that information in the annual report that we're releasing today is at lincoln.ne.gov/streets. Thank you.